Theruvan Sarnai. We live. But for what? There is a big problem. Why do we live? I think we had to answer these questions before. I think we had to answer these a long time ago, before we went to nursery, before we went to school. We got a life. We were born. The reason? However, we were born, then what can we do? What's the purpose? If you don't have that, then we live according to whatever the society. Therefore, the society we are associated with, they ask us to do things. They ask us to practice. They ask us to go to temple. Then we went, we observed Sil, and we gave alms. We listened to sermons. Perhaps some of you went to a church and you listened to sermons. And we had to do all these things. Because we didn't know the purpose of our life. We didn't have a chance to know, because there wasn't a subject to find out about it. Other than that, we learned everything. We learned science. We learned how to break a nucleus and take energy out and make an atom bomb and use it for distortion. Then we know now how to kill people, how to kill animals, how to destroy the world. But the only thing we don't know is how to enjoy our life. We can kill 1,000 people, but we can't enjoy our life by doing that. But people try to do. To acquire things, to be happy, people kill others. People destroy others' lives. We have seen that. And I know, we all know how to kill an animal. We don't have to teach anyone. We all know that. But how to be happy? We still search for that. Now perhaps one of you are in your 80s, 70s. You came here to find out how to be happy. I think something is missing all the time. When we think about our life, we couldn't get that part. Because we tried to be happy, we wanted to achieve happiness. Therefore, we read many books. And we have been reading. Still you are reading books. Still when you go to a library or a shop, you try to buy books when it says happiness. How to achieve your happiness. Happiness is this, that. Because you couldn't achieve it. You couldn't achieve it means actually you couldn't experience it. That's the reason. We always deal with our mind, but we couldn't experience it yet. We always deal with the kingdom of heaven, according to Jesus Christ. But we still couldn't experience it. Therefore, we are in a race. We want to achieve, because we think that everything should be achieved. That's how we have been taught. We believe that everything should be achieved. Our education, we had to achieve. When we were in a nursery, we were taught that we had to achieve that target. Scholarship exams, O-levels, GCSE, A-levels, then university, then PhD, double PhD, triple PhD, so on. Then we had that we had to achieve. Then we had a goal. Then we thought that having a goal is nice. We can have a goal and achieve it. That's how we learned how to achieve things. However, we missed something. Some people who became the world's richest person, on their deathbed, they believed that something was missing in his life or her life. But they have achieved a lot. They have achieved their targets. They became the richest man in the world. But however, they missed something. They missed something because they saw only the target. When you see the target and try to achieve it, you miss the path. You can be aware of where you are, and you can be aware where you have to go, but you will miss the path. But remember this, ladies and gentlemen, you can only experience 2 points in your life: where you begin and where you end. But life is not those 2 points. The most of your life is in between. When you try to achieve something, you will miss your life. But I know you will achieve it. One day you will be happy by thinking that I have achieved that. But when you achieve that, actually you missed your whole life. You will experience pleasure at that time. Then you think that your thought was correct. Because you thought that this world is so pleasurable and you have to achieve them. You didn't know that the world is neutral. If you want, you can be happy. Otherwise, you can be sad. Happiness and vexation is created in your mind. That's not in object or the world. When you experience that, if your mind is vexed, whatever you experience, if your mind is vexed, you will only experience a bitter experience. I can prove that to you. What about your adorable kid? He is adorable, and you always want to associate with him. But when you are vexed, how do you feel about your child? When you are vexed, let's assume that you are in hot water completely, you are in a trouble. Now you want to come out of that, but at that moment, your child comes to you. Then how do you experience this? Then definitely you don't like that. You don't feel adorable at that time. But your child, he's your child. But you can't experience love at that time. You only experience vexation. This is how you experience the world, ladies and gentlemen. When you are vexed, you only experience vexation. No matter what you associate with. Then you label them. You try to label the world. When you do that, you try to associate some part of the world, not the other part. That's why you have adorable things and things that you hate. You don't like them. Some people, I know, you have some faces you don't like. When you see some faces, you like them. You want to associate with them. Some faces. Perhaps my face. Today, are you okay with this? Perhaps today you are okay with this, but tomorrow you won't be. Because that's how it is. If you are in a happy mood, then definitely you will like this face. Whatever face this is, it doesn't matter. If you are happy, that means if you don't have problems, if you have issues in your life, you can't enjoy your life. Whatever you see, you can't enjoy it. But nothing is adorable in this world. But when you want to associate with things, like it looks adorable to you. The mind creates these things. When you see a small kid, then you say, oh, he or she is so adorable. And you want to associate with that. Then you think that that child is adorable. When I say that, sometimes you may think that, of course, children are adorable. That's how you used to believe. They are not adorable. When I say that, no, they are not adorable. They are not adorable. Nothing is adorable in this world. Nothing is ugly. Nothing is beautiful. But you experience it. And you name it. Then you try to achieve it. Or run away from it. Therefore, most of the time you couldn't enjoy your life. You try to achieve things or run away from things. When you try to run away from things or chase away from your life, when you try to do all these things, you will experience 2 points. One is the beginning point, the other one is the end point. You will experience that. If you are successful, then you would be happy at that time. But you miss the life because it started from here. You experienced this. You were vexed at that time because you didn't like that face or that object or that person, because you saw a person. You saw a fixed object. Then you felt vexation. You wanted to run away from that or chase it away. Somehow you did it, but you used the path. Then finally, perhaps after a year, perhaps 2 years later, then you achieved it. This is your achievement, ladies and gentlemen. When you achieve this, you miss this life. This is perhaps 2 years. It is so unfair. When you try to achieve things, you miss your life. It's so unfair. Because you have been taught that you should have your goals. And you created them. You created a goal because your goal or your condition was not enough for you. You are not happy with your condition. You had a current situation that at that time, present situation, at that time, you didn't like that. You wanted more perhaps. Because you knew that you didn't have happiness at that time. Therefore, you thought that you can achieve happiness by achieving something. Therefore, you try to chase. And finally, you would achieve this. I'm pretty sure you have achieved a lot in your life. But the only problem is, you miss this. And today, if you try to achieve your Nibbana, you will miss again. Therefore, I want you to experience your life, ladies and gentlemen. Just experience your life. Have a plan, that's fine. Then when I teach these things, our kids, our monks sometimes ask me that, Guru Handro, how can we achieve something then? I always ask them to have a plan. Have a plan, but live your life. Plan your day, but live your life. Let's assume that you have to start something tomorrow. Write it down. Tomorrow at 6:30, you have to start that. Tomorrow at 6:30, you will start it. Now, you will live your life to the fullest. How do you do that? Do what you do completely. Pay your attention. Pay your attention to what you see. Pay your attention to what you hear, what you experience. And try to understand it. Understand it means be aware. Learn anicca dukkha anatta. You should know that to practice this anyway. Otherwise, you can only try to be in the present and avoid your problems. By listening to something, you always listen to that. That doesn't stop your worries. But if you know anicca dukkha anatta, you can stop vexation. If your mind is vexed, you can't be happy. I'm pretty sure. I'm 100% sure about that. If your mind is vexed, you can't be happy. You can't identify things properly. You can't see the reality of anything. That's why I told you, when you are vexed and if your child comes to you, then you can't associate with your child. Like a father or mother. You will associate with him like an enemy. You will chase him away. He'll be sad. I think you have experienced these things. Because you had a problem. You had a problem means you were vexed. You were vexed because you had a goal. You wanted to achieve that. That means your current condition. That's not enough. You see flowers, ladies and gentlemen, but you can't recognize them. Because you live in the future. Because you have to achieve something. You are not satisfied with what you have. You only wanted happiness. I'm pretty sure that. You wanted happiness. That's why you got a good education. You wanted to be happy. That's why you acquired many things. Because you wanted to be happy. If you were born in a well-off family, I don't think you will earn money. Because you have. When you have money, you don't want to earn, then you will start enjoying your life. But you didn't have enough money. Therefore, you wanted to get a good education. And you wanted to do a good job for money. But you did all these things to experience happiness. However, you couldn't do that. It didn't happen to you. It never happened to you. It never happened to you if you practice the same. But if you know how to be satisfied with what you have means I'm not talking about the money you have. I'm not talking about the house you have. If you can be satisfied with what you experience, because you can't experience your house, ladies and gentlemen, can you? Can you experience your house? You can't. You only experience 6 things in the world. colors. But you can create a house in your mind, but you only experience colors. By looking at my face, you can only experience colors. You can't experience a human being. You created a human being. You always create a human being by these colors. However, you only experience colors. But if you don't like black color, if you don't like blue color, then you can't experience it because you already don't like them. And you like some colors. Then you always try to fight to achieve white color. Can you imagine that? That's what you had to do. Sometimes you fight with your spouse and agree, or make him agree, to paint the wall white. Then you think that you won. And you think that you achieved something. Because now you think that your house is white. No. You liked white color. Now you achieved it. Now you can experience it. However, we only experience colors. We only experience sounds. We can't experience these objects, ladies and gentlemen. You only experience these things because you only have 6 sensory organs. Then you use those sensory organs and try to experience them. That's your life. But if you leave them behind and try to achieve something, what can you achieve in your life? This life is so simple, ladies and gentlemen. Now it became so complex, perplexed. This life is so simple. So simple. Look, this life is so simple. You just need to experience what you experience. And try to make your mind up. And be satisfied. It's so simple. Look, it's so simple. Look at this, please. This is your life. This is your life. You can't have more than that. You can't own this. To own this, what can you do? Try to own this. The world is not to own. The world is to experience. When you experience something, if you try to separate them, if you try to discriminate them, and if you try to chase something away and try to achieve something, it's insane. Because that's the only thing you can experience. Right now you can only experience blue color, ladies and gentlemen. Then if you don't like it, that means you don't like your life. Then you feel that your life is so miserable. So miserable because you don't like blue color. You can't chase this away because to chase this away, you should know the color first. You should experience the color. That means when you experience this color, it becomes your life. Your experience is your life, ladies and gentlemen. That means, according to the Buddha, Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankara Vijnana. This is your life. Your body is only a machine. This is your life. We can say the mind. The mind is your life. That means whatever you experience is your life. Then you experience only colors, sounds, taste, touch. You only experience those things. Then if you don't like them, actually you don't like your life. That's the problem. Sometimes you like your life, sometimes you don't like your life. Sometimes you try to reject your life. Of course, then you should be vexed. So that's the only thing you have. Then you try to chase it away. Then you said that I hate my life. I hate this color. You can tell it the other way as well. How? I hate my life. That's why. I hate my life. When you are in this point, you hate your life. Then you think that you will love your life, or you will experience your life, or whatever you think, and by coming to this point. That's your belief. Then you will try to achieve this, but in between, again you will lose your life, because because there are many points. This point is not your life. This point is not your life. This point is not your life. This point is your life. When you choose a life, but when you choose a point in your life that you can enjoy, that you can be happy, then you will lose these points. There are 5 colors. Let's assume that there are 5 colors, and you love only one color. Then you will miss others. When you see them, first color you reject it. You reject it, or second color rejected, third color okay, fourth color rejected, fifth color, the fifth color also rejected. Now, then how can you enjoy your life? Then for these 5 colors, I can give you some marks for that, 1 out of 5. That means you enjoyed only 20% of your life. Then you think that, I'm not happy. Of course you are not happy, because you can enjoy only 20% of your life. How many colors you love, and how many colors you don't like? Just imagine that. Perhaps you love only 1 or 2 colors. Just count that. Then you will see that there are infinite number of colors, and you like 2 colors, 2 out of infinity. What is that? What is the number? 0. 0. You love your life? 0%. It's not a wonder. You hate your life, and you think that your life is so miserable, and you try to achieve. And you try to jump from this point to this point, and you are waiting time to pass. You are waiting for time past, because you don't like this time, this present situation you don't like. And the other thing is, ladies and gentlemen, when you think that I hate this color, that means actually you want time to pass. But you don't know that by doing that, you try to kill yourself. Because time means your life. That means you don't like this life, not the time we are talking about, not the situation. You hate this life. Therefore, you don't want that part of your life. You want to eradicate that. That means you want to reduce your lifespan. Let's assume that if you really want to be happy in your life, and if you take 40 years of your life, now tell me, if we remove all the vexatious situations that you have experienced so far, how many hours can you have as your lifespan? I think perhaps 2 hours out of 40 years. Because you hate it. I don't like, I hate you, I hate this. Just imagine that I hate this. I don't want to stay here. I don't want to listen to this song. I want to choose things. I want to choose things because I don't like these things. I only like this, I don't like this. But you had everything, ladies and gentlemen. You rejected them by experiencing it. That means it became your life first. After that you rejected it. Finally, you didn't reject the object. You rejected your life. That's why you hate your life, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you think that your life is miserable, and you think that you are vexed. There is only one way to come out of this. You should surrender. You should surrender to nature. Nature means whatever you experience. But if you start choosing things, again you can't do anything. Choosing means you discriminate. If you discriminate nature, your life becomes a hell. That's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. It became a hell. Therefore, let's try to surrender. In order to do so, you have to understand nature and stop choosing things. But you will choose automatically. You can't stop that. If you think that everything is unique and special. That's the point. When you feel that this pen is special, this color is special, then you will choose. Because when you feel this, when you feel that this is special, then attachment is created in your mind. That means your mind gets attached to this. Now the mind has only one option. The mind has to experience this. Don't put yourself into that pit. When you never enjoy your life, if you do that. But it happens. It happens automatically, due to ignorance. That's why we should fight to eradicate ignorance. This is the only enemy we have. Attachment is created. We can deal with attachment. We can stop it totally. Attachment causes to jati, which means the false sense of existence. Suffering. After that. But ignorance is the problem. Ignorance is the root. We have to deal with that. Because if you believe that everything is Nitya Sukhatha, which means at least if you believe that everything is unique and special, now you have to experience it. That's the reason you choose. Perhaps this sound is unique. But it's not unique, but you think that it's unique. Then perhaps you want this or you don't want this. If you want it, then you have a goal because you want this. Then when I force this, then you are waiting. When you are waiting, you can hear sounds, you can see things, but you can't experience that because you have a future, because you want it. You have another point in your life that you like. Because this voice is unique, you want to hear. If you want to hear, that wanting is the devil. It happens due to attachment. That's why the Buddha said, attachment is the cause of suffering. You suffer because of attachment. But you can eradicate attachment if you are ignorant. If you choose. Listen to this, the noise of the fan. How beautiful it is. But you can't, because you are waiting to listen to this voice. Because this voice is completely different than that. This is unique, and that is unique. I let you experience your life. But if you have a goal to listen to the next word, then you will miss that. That's how it is. But not in a sermon. But sermon you have to pay your attention, that's fine. But I wanted to say that. Don't listen to other things, just listen to this now. But that's what I said. Because when you wanted something, you missed other things. This is the point. This is the thing you want. This is the thing you have. These are the things you missed. You are not okay with this point. You are not okay with this point. You are only okay with this point. That's why you can't enjoy your life. If you believe that this point is unique, and this point is also unique, and according to your views, you believe that this will give you happiness. According to your views. When you listen to other people, you get views. Because people have opinions, ladies and gentlemen. They always talk about their opinions. They like to talk about their opinions. They share it with you. Perhaps they may say that this point, this fact, whatever it is, this will give you happiness. And you know that this exists. If this exists, and if it is separated from other things, if it is an entity, and if it is special, then you believe that this will make you happy. But perhaps another person comes to you and says that this is not the point, this point is happy. If you achieve this one, they can change your views because they can share their own views and they can show that they have enjoyed this by their hand signals, facial expressions. When they eat something, that's why they say this. They make their fingers like that. Then if I eat this and say that, then perhaps you believe that. That's how you are. Because you are thirsty, ladies and gentlemen. You are thirsty of happiness. You believe whatever people say. Because you believe that the world is not one thing. It is separated into a billion parts. And they all are unique. If you can't experience happiness with one, then you can find another one. That's how you believe. We can't stop people giving us views. Whatever the view we get, we observe it. That's how we are. That's how our mind is, because the mind is seeking for things. The mind wants to know about happiness. How can it achieve happiness? Therefore, the mind wants many details. That's why when you see a book, you try to read. When you see a piece of paper, you try to read it. You try to listen to things, sermons, stories, speeches. You try to listen to them Because you think that you can find happiness or the path to happiness from those things. You are so vigilant because you believe that you will achieve happiness. Please remove that from your mind. You can't achieve happiness. You can be happy right now. This is the point. You just need to get rid of attachment from your mind. You have to get rid of ignorance from your mind. You have to be enlightened. Then you won't choose. You will be happy with anything, whatever you have. Then you won't have another point. But in your plan, you will have a point. Tomorrow at 6:30, you will start that. That's fine. Tomorrow at 6:30, you will start that. But now, it is 8:30 at night. You will hear a sound. You will listen to that. But you will achieve this by tomorrow morning. When tomorrow morning comes, to the present. That means to your experience. The present means your experience. The present means your life. When this comes to your life, you experience it. Let it come. Don't wait for that. If you wait for it, you will miss what you have. You will miss what you have. That is so dangerous and unfair. You always miss your life then. Future goals. We will have them. That's fine. We will have them, but on the plan. That's it. You make a plan and on it you can write it. That's your plan. That's your future. But you only experience your life in Pachuppanna time. I would say in the present. Pachuppanna, the Buddha said Pachuppanna, that means when causes are gathered, an effect is created, that is Pachuppanna time. Whenever causes are gathered, that is Pachuppanna time. That's your life. You can only experience that. Don't reject that. But that is unfair for me to ask that. Don't reject it because it is rejected, because that's not what you wanted. That means you have a wanting. When you have a wanting, you always choose. You have a wanting because of attachment. You have an attachment because of ignorance. Ignorance means you believe that everything is an entity. That's the first belief. And they are unique and special. Let's try to come out of that. Let's talk about your body and see. Your body. Where can you find your mind in your body? If you can find your mind in one of your legs, perhaps when it is amputated, then you will miss your mind, and that means you are fully unconscious after that. But we know that we can't find our mind in our body. Actually, we don't have to find where it resides. But we know one thing. Our mind always deals with our brain. It always sends signals to our brain, and our brain controls the body. Our brain needs only a signal. This is a brain, ladies and gentlemen. This is made up of cells. This is a machine. This is not a human being. This head is not a human being. Human being is created in your mind. But in the reality, you can't find a human being here. This is a machine actually. Brain is an organ. Here, it wants a signal to release a message. Release a message means when we talk about, when we use that word message, then you feel that you type something. That is not a message. It needs a message to start an electric shock, nerve impulse. To start that, it needs a permission. That can be a small electric shock, let's assume that. Then that's the message the brain gets from the mind. Apart from that, you can't find a human being here. With the signal, energy is released from in your body, in your muscles. Then your arm moves, your legs move. I can't say you move your arms. Because of energy. Energy is released from your muscles. When we eat, energy is stored. Energy is stored in our muscles. With the signal, it is released. When it is released, now excess energy is in your body, therefore it has to move. Then it moves. That's how you see this arm moves. You can't find a human being here. You can't find any Atma here. If you know about Atma, you can't find anything apart from cells. This is only a machine. You can't find a person here. If you can't find a person, how can you deal with this? Luckily, you can see a person here. Therefore, you try to talk to that person. But this person is energized by energy. This person means this body. This body is energized by energy. And that energy is released by the mind. That mind is also some sort of energy. That energy makes the brain releases energy, or the brain sends a signal. In order to do so, the brain needs a small message. That message is the same. It is not different to everyone. If we want to stimulate our brain, we can fix some electrodes and we can apply some energy. Then our body moves. It needs only a signal. That signal is sent by the mind. The mind is also energy, and that sort of energy is enough to control this body. That small energy is enough. If you don't have a mind, then we can use some electrodes to move this. You fix some electrodes here. You may have seen that. Then we stimulate this. When you stimulate this, then that signal goes through the body, and you can move your legs, arms, so on. Then to move this, you need some energy that is created by the mind. Or that is the mind. If you want to move the body, you have to do kaya sankara, which means the chitta, which is the mind, which is created to move the body. If you want to make words, sounds, you need vachi sankara. That is also a mind. That mind is needed to make sound. The other one is chitta sankara. That is used to create the mind. There are 3 sankharas. But 3 sankharas, but only the same mind. The mind is not different. The mind is the same. That is a small energy. Everyone has the same mind. The mind is the same. Your mind, my mind, animals, gods, demons. Every mind is the same. It is created to know, to identify, to perceive. And we can use that energy to move the body. To move the body, it has to send a small signal to the brain. After that, the brain will conduct the body completely. And you have stored energy in your muscles already. You eat and store energy in your muscles. Then it needs a signal to release. When it is released, like a gun, as you can remember. This is the bullet. It has gunpowder here. When you shoot, this will explode. This explodes. When it explodes, it doesn't have a place to go. There is only one place. Therefore, it uses this place, this path. That's why you can use this to shoot someone. Energy is released here. When gunpowder is burned, energy is released. That energy is taken by this bullet. Now it has to go. It has to move. Likewise, when the energy is released here, then these parts have to move. That's why you see movements. I don't use my mind to move these things, because my mind is not powerful enough to move these things. This arm is very heavy, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have a heavy mind to move this. I need energy. Energy is stored there. I ate. I have been eating. And I have been storing energy here by eating. Therefore, when the signal comes, energy is released and it moves. Knowingly or unknowingly, ladies and gentlemen. When energy is released, that's why we can fix some electrodes to our brain and send signals. Then, unbeknown to you, this will move. We just need to release energy. Here, we just need to release energy. When energy is released, you can't say that, please stop. Can you? Can you say that, please stop? Don't go. No, energy is released. Now it has to move. When energy is released, it has to move. Energy is released due to that message. Message means not some letters or words. And we know that our mind can't talk, can it? Our mind can't talk. What is the language of the mind? Sinhalese, English, Tamil, Hindi, Chinese, Japanese. What's the language? It doesn't have a language. It doesn't have words. The mind doesn't know words, ladies and gentlemen. Then it uses some kind of signal. That energy is used to stimulate the brain. That is enough. Therefore, an ant's mind can control an elephant's body. Because an elephant's body is full of energy. Energy is stored there. Now it is ready to work. Now, if the brain sends a signal through nerve system, then energy is released. Ant's mind is enough for that. It's like you drive a heavy vehicle. When you drive a heavy vehicle, perhaps a small boy, small girl can drive it. They just need to accelerate. The accelerator. They need to pedal it. That's it. Push it down. Then it will move. Because energy is stored there. Likewise, your body is also full of energy. It is ready to move. It is ready to release energy. Then it needs a signal. Then brain sends a signal, but the mind sends a signal to the brain. That means that is the mind, ladies and gentlemen. That is the mind. Then everyone has the same mind because the mind is also energy. If everyone has the same mind, and how can you say that I am different to you? If everyone has that same energy, because if the mind is energy, just imagine that everyone has the mind. Everyone has the same mind. That's why it says everyone is the Buddha. If you can recognize them. You can find the Buddha in everyone. Because that's the mind, pure mind. The pure mind is nothing but energy. If we define energy, energy is work done. That means we use energy to do work. We use this mechanical energy to do some work. I use mechanical energy to lift this. Then I use my mind energy to think. To think and send messages to the brain. When the mind is created, a message is sent. With that, the body can release energy and work is done. This is how we control our body. This is how we work. But if the mind is energy, the mind is the same because energy is the same. Then you have that energy, I have that energy. That's not your energy and that's not my energy. Energy is energy. I lift this. Of course, I lift this, but you never say that I use chemical energy to lift this. Then when I use chemical energy to lift this, can I say that that chemical energy is mine? I use my chemical energy to do this. Can I have some chemical energy from you? Huh? Do you have your chemical energy? I can't ask these things, you know that. Because energy is the same. even though we use different names, that is also the same, ladies and gentlemen. Chemical energy, electrical energy, all these kind of energy is also the same. We use different names because their nature is different. Chemical energy is stored between two atoms, two molecules. That is chemical energy. But same energy. What is the unit of chemical energy? What is the unit of chemical energy? In physics we use chemical energy. Chemical energy, C, J. Is that the one? Because it's chemical energy. Kinetic energy, K, J. No, whatever the type of energy we talk about, we used only one unit, that is joule. Therefore, the energy is the same, ladies and gentlemen. Energy is the same, but we use different names because the electric energy comes through wires and come through electrons. It's a current, therefore it is current energy or electric energy. That's the way we receive it. Potential energy, it is stored somewhere, therefore we use potential energy. That's the name we use for that, potential energy. Then kinetic energy, it is moving. That energy is used to move things, or moving, and a moving object has that energy. Therefore, it is called kinetic energy. But energy is the same. And in school we learned that energy can't be created or destroyed, only can be transformed. That's what we learned. That is correct. Energy can't be created or destroyed. But we had to consider about entire energy in the universe, including mass. Because this mass is also energy. If we consider this also as mass, then we don't have to use Sir Albert Einstein's equation. Because mass is also, according to this equation, energy is directly proportional to mass. Energy is mass. Actually, mass is condensed energy. Therefore, conservation of energy is true. Conservation of energy is true. Energy can't be created or destroyed. But we say that, we tell that only can be transferred, because we can use chemical energy to lift this. Then we think that this chemical energy is transformed to here potential energy. Now, because now the energy is stored there, then we think that energy is stored there. And if I throw this, then it transformed to kinetic energy. That's all. But it doesn't transform, ladies and gentlemen. That's the same energy we are talking about. That's the same energy in your body, in my body, in this pen, wherever it is the same body. It is the same energy. Then if you talk about the mind is also energy, then the mind is also the same. That's why we can't say that that's your mind and my mind. But because of ignorance, you always choose things. Because of ignorance, you believe that everything is an entity. Therefore, you try to separate energy. That's why when we learn that energy has a few types, then we believed it. We believe that this is electric energy, this is nuclear energy, this is chemical energy. We believe that. Because we wanted to know that everything is an entity in this world. Therefore, the energy also is separated into a few energies. Therefore, we named them after that. We like to associate with them like that, because we didn't like the entire energy. We didn't like that because we wanted to experience entities. Because when we experience entities, we can achieve our goal. Because the current situation is bad. The present is bad. Can you remember that thing? Present is bad. This is bad. If this is bad, then we should believe that somewhere there is a point that we can be happy. That shouldn't be this. Then actually we are forced, due to ignorance and attachment, we are forced to believe that everything is an entity. You can find 1 billion entities in this world. If this is not the happiest place, then you will find the place that you can be happy one day. Therefore, when we talk about energy, we believe that there are a few types of energy. But the truth is, energy is energy. We can't separate them. Then if you talk about the mind energy is also the same. You can't separate them. Therefore, you can't think that you have some sort of energy and I have some sort of energy. No, we all have the same energy. If I use my mind with your brain, my mind also can control your brain, which means your body. Because it is the same. It is like the same engine, but different body. Let's assume that we have 10 buses. They have different bodies. Faces are different, but the same engine. That energizes. That energizes the body, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, by seeing the body, don't believe that it's a human being. It's a completely different person. When you see that, how can you say that this is a different person if your mind controls this body right now? But there is no such thing called your mind energy. Let's assume that this body is controlled by an engine. That engine is universal. If that engine is universal, your body also can be controlled by it. Then how can you say that this is a different person? By seeing this face. That's the only way. By seeing this face and by seeing these movements, expressions, you think that this is a completely different person. You are deceived. You are deceived by your own mind, ladies and gentlemen, because it is ignorant and it believes that this mind is also an entity. Can you imagine that? This mind is also an entity. Therefore, you think that there is a person inside this body. Therefore, when I bend my arm, you think that my inner man, that inner man also bends his arm. Just imagine this, ladies and gentlemen. I'll show you this. I always show you this until you understand this. I don't have to show this. Your own mind shows you this. It has been doing this for eons now. Just imagine that. What about my inner person? That person. Because this is the body, this is the body. Okay, that person. Try to understand this, ladies and gentlemen. If you can understand this, you can come out of suffering. I'm pretty sure. There's only a small thing to understand. This is not complex. You have to be aware. That's it. Learn anicca dukkha anatta and be aware. You don't have to analyze. The Buddha didn't ask us to analyze. And remember that as well, because you are well educated, therefore it's really difficult for you to attain Nibbana. Because educated people always try to analyze things. When you get the Dhamma, you try to analyze. You want to go to the deep and see what it is. No, you have to be aware. You don't have to know how this flower blooms. You just need to see it and understand it. Then you have to practice awareness. You have to practice awareness with about anicca dukkha anatta, and use anicca dukkha anatta, which means the main characteristics of nature. You use them and be aware. That's what we need to do. And when you see this, you just need to be aware. If you be aware, but first of all you should know this and be aware. Practice awareness. Practice awareness by applying anicca dukkha anatta. Now, this body is controlled by the brain. You all believe that because it is proven. Do you agree with me? Yes. Now, the brain controls this body. Therefore, you can't find the mind wherever here. Then, the brain needs a signal. That signal itself is the mind. Then to stimulate the brain, if we use electrodes and some small current, then the mind is also should be energy. Anyway, we know that the mind is also energy. If the mind is energy, that energy can't be separated. Energy should be the same. Therefore, there is no such thing called your mind and my mind. The mind, which is that energy. Therefore, that energy controls this body. That energy controls your body. That energy controls your body. In this case, just think about this. If this body is controlled by the mind, which is the same, and if you can't find any person or any entity in this mind, inside this body, to whom you talk to? I'm talking to you, but actually before that I really want to find you. Where are you? In your head? In your arms, legs? Where are you? You all know that you are not in your arms, inside your arms. Why? Because arms can be amputated, but still person can talk and walk. Therefore we know that you can't find you in your body. Then how can I talk to you? Please show yourself. If police ask you to show yourself, then you have to find, wait sir, I'm fine. How can you find? Even a doctor can't find you in the body. Then how can a policeman find you? I'm not saying that. I'm not talking about nothing. Nothingness and thingness, these are not the correct words to use. Explanations. These are not correct explanations. Nothing and thing. Try to understand the reality. Those are philosophical words. When you use these things, you can analyze. But by analyzing, you can't attain Nibbana. Keep it simple. Be aware. Because This blue color is enough for you to attain Nibbana. You don't have to find the chemical structure of this color. But when you are an educated person, you try to find the chemical structure of this color, and you want to go into it. But you just need to be aware. This is blue and it is created in your mind. When this is created in your mind, that's your mind. Therefore, if someone asks, who are you? Then you can say, by saying this, I am blue. Please look at this pen, everyone. Who are you? Everyone has to say, I am blue. Then how can you say that? I am blue. If everyone is blue, then you have to say that, blue, which is true. The person doesn't exist, but blue color exists. When the blue color is created and perceived, that is blue. But if your mind is ignorant, the mind thinks that I am blue, or I perceive blue. But where can we find that I? Why do you think that I am different to you? Because you have created a man inside this body. You think that that man controls this body. To move this arm, the man who is inside, he moves it. Therefore, that man should be different. That's why you believe that every person is different. How can you say that I am a man and you are a woman? What is the female version of energy? It is anyway female version because it is G, energy. Then I had to ask, what is the male version of energy? Energy. We know that we don't have any male-female version of energy. Then how can you say that I'm a man and you are a woman? How can you say that beautiful girl is a child? How can you say that? How do you know that? Because you checked her body. You saw it. It's so small. Therefore you think that that creature or a person inside her body should be very small. Otherwise, let's assume that this is a small girl, and inside that small girl's body, if there is a big lady, big woman, then because that big woman should come out of the body and it should be like this. If it is small, smaller than the body, then that is. But this is impossible. That means that inside person should be as same as the body. Therefore you believe that this is the body and this is the inside person. That is the inner person. You always believe this. According to this phase, you have an identity also. Therefore, if something happened to this face and you think that, oh, what happened to Guru Hamduro's face? Which one is my face, ladies and gentlemen? This one or 5 years ago or 10 years ago? Which one is my face? Which one is Guru Hamduro's face? Try to understand that you are not seeing at Guru Hamduro. You are seeing at a body. It changes all the time. Rupatitiko bhikkave tasma rupanti uchati, the Buddha said. This is full of energy. If you add more energy, this will be distorted. It's not distorted, actually, it is newly built. It is newly built. You can't change anything. Because this is energy. This is energy, and if you apply more energy into this, then another form will be created. That's it. If you take an example, 10, 1 and 0. Then when I erase this, now you can't say that I erase this, therefore 1 remains. You can't say that. This is a new creation. This was the old one, and now this is a new creation. You can't just say that this comes from the previous one. Always we experience a new creation because this is energy. If you add more energy into that, you will experience a new version or new creation. Then, what is my face? Who am I? Where can you find me? Can't I use your mind to get this wisdom and preach? Can, ladies and gentlemen, but there is no such thing called your mind. I can use that energy because that's energy. It's like, I can lift this pen by using this hand. Can't I use this hand to lift? This is my right hand, this is my left hand. That means this is my right energy and this is my left energy. No, energy is energy. This needs energy to be lifted. In order to talk, I need a mind, which means that energy. That energy is everywhere. Can I take your one? Not your one, but can I take from there, somewhere? That energy is needed. That's it. Then how can you find a person? Just imagine that. But you can see a person. You can see a person, you talk to that person. You just talk to that person. When I talk to you, you talk to me. Because that person is created in your mind and you are created in your mind you exist and I exist in your mind, then you talk to me. We can talk. And you got married finally. To whom? To yourself. Perhaps. Why? What's the difference? The body is also the same, but a different structure. Women's body, a woman's body is different, structure-wise. Have you come across a cell called female cell? Male cells, female cells, male carbon, female carbon. That's why. This structure is different. There is no such thing called a man and a woman. But structure is different. If we want, actually we can convert a man to a woman. How? Just change the structure. Can you convert graphite to diamond? I'll give you the method. Last week we talked about that. I'll give you the method. Because we need to find the structure. That's it. Because the structure makes the difference. Woman's body has a different structure. Therefore, you feel that it's different. And on top of that, you believe that a woman resides in the body. Therefore, you got married to her. I'm pretty sure you didn't marry to her body, did you? That means you will marry her, or you would marry her even if she died, if she were a dead body. No. That means you didn't want just the body. You wanted the person. Where did you find the person? You married a person. Yes or no? You married a person, not a body. But that body helped you to create a person in your mind. Then each time when you see that body, you thought that that person also in the body, because that body could move. It was alive because it was moving. When I move these my hand, then you think that, oh, this is alive. Guru Hamdu is still alive. Guru Hamdu is still alive. He is inside. I'm talking to him. I'm listening to him. This is so weird, ladies and gentlemen. This is so weird. Because you are listening to no one. Think about this, that's it. Think about this and be aware. Then you will be okay. Because then you won't have women and men in your life. If energy is the same, if you don't have male energy and female energy, if you don't have the male mind and the female mind, then we should know that we are talking about the same energy, the same mind. Then if the mind controls the brain, if the brain controls the body, then how do you make sure that this body belongs to a man? You can say that this body is controlled by energy. That is the mind. You can't talk to your mind, ladies and gentlemen. Let's assume that we take your mind. How should be it? Like, what is the figure of the mind? What is the shape? Like your face. What is the gender of your mind? If you are a female, then gender is female? No. If we take your mind, if we capture your mind, then it should be some energy. Then if I take another mind, then that is also the same, because energy is the same. Then how can we discriminate these two? How can we say that this is different to this is different to this, and this belongs to this person, and this belongs to this person? Luckily you saw a person. Then you got married. You saw a person. Until today you see a person, therefore you are happy. Otherwise you just talk to a ghost. Not a ghost. Ghost is also a creature, a person that is created in your mind. We can talk about ghost if you want. If you take a ghost, that I would say he also has a body. Not he, that there is a body, but it's very subtle. We can't see. It is not tangible. When it is not tangible, then we don't believe. We can't touch it. But inside we can't find a ghost, we only find a mind, which is the same energy that we have, which means that we are. Then if you see a person, try to see that. Not only a person. When you see your dog, when you see any creature, just see that. You will see a body. But inside that body you can't find anyone. That body is also the same like us. As we know, it is created, it is made up of electrons, protons, neutrons. The structure is different, otherwise everything is the same. Then how can you find a different person? Why can't you be happy at any time? Because if everything is the same, then you don't have to choose. You can enjoy your life. Whatever you experience, that's your life. That's how you can live your life to the fullest. People talk about that. You have to live your life to the fullest. That's how people talk. They ask you to achieve things, acquire things, become a rich person, become a good, well-educated person. They ask, then they said that if you can become a rich person, if you can earn a lot of money, then you can live your life to the fullest. That's how we have been taught. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, you never live your life to the fullest if you can't live this moment to the fullest. This moment, this is very important, because this is your life. Then if you can experience this life without any condition, you live your life to the fullest. Without any condition. But if you are ignorant, you may have a billion conditions. But if everything is the same, what is the condition you have? If everything is the same. How do you choose a woman to marry? Just tell me if everything is the same. Actually, luckily you know that means you perceive on your own. You perceive that there is a man in this body, there is a woman in this body. Then you love it. I had to say it because you love that energy. That means energy loves energy. That's a good drama in this world. Don't you feel that energy loves energy due to ignorance? But you can create a big drama, ladies and gentlemen. Then you suffer because you can't enjoy your life. You try to enjoy your life. You always try to enjoy your life because current condition is not enough. Because current condition is different to the other conditions. Because you have many conditions in your life. Because you believe that everything is an entity. If something is an entity, it is unique and it is special. Therefore, you believe that everything is special. Therefore, you believe that you have a choice. And you try to achieve those things. When you got married, actually you had a choice. You chose. Not good. Not good. Why? The first person was metal, made up of metal. Second was made up of wood. Why did he reject? Why did he choose? When you saw that face, ladies and gentlemen, then you thought that face lives in the body. By looking at that body, you recognize that it's a male or female. That's how you had a straight marriage. No other marriages as well. Because you always see the person. When you see a dog, you see a dog in the dog. When the dog dies, you think that, oh, that dog's dog went away. Therefore, the body remains. Each time when you see a dead body, that's how you think, oh, it died. It died. What is remaining then? That is the body. That means that it was living in the body and it went away. Actually, what happened is the mind has been created. The mind has been created and sent signal to the brain. Now the process of the mind stops there. Now the body doesn't have any connection with the process of the mind, process of the energy. It's like the motor burns. The motor doesn't work now. Therefore, the machine doesn't work. That's it. The bus is driven by the engine. Now the engine doesn't work. Therefore, the bus stops. When you see a bus, don't you see a bus inside the bus? When you see a tree, don't you see a tree inside the tree? But definitely you will see a man inside a man, or inside a body, man or woman. You will definitely see. And when it dies, you think that thing dies, which means that thing went away. Can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, people think that they are well educated. They are well educated. They try to go to Mars and they try to discover things on the Mars. But still, they don't know what's going on with them. Therefore, I really want you to find about yourself and understand it. If you have understood this, you don't suffer. You wouldn't suffer, ladies and gentlemen. You were ignorant. Therefore, you saw a human being in someone's body. Someone's means a body inside a body. Then you thought that that man or woman will make you happy. Did she? I'm not blaming anyone, ladies and gentlemen. There is no one to blame. But you always point your finger at someone else. He destroyed my life. She destroyed my life. You always talk about that. Okay, I agree with you. If you can show me that you can enjoy your life right now, then I believe that someone destroyed your life. Someone ruined your life. Prove it to me that you can live your life to the fullest right now. That means you don't have any expectation. You can experience your life right now. Then I believe. Otherwise, you have ruined your own life. Don't blame others. You have ruined your life because of ignorance, not because of someone else's work, ladies and gentlemen, because of your ignorance. That's why we need to fight. That's why I told you, let's practice anatta. Now you can see that when you practice anatta, you can use this. Try to see a person, someone's body. But don't look at them, then they will think that you are insane. But perhaps you can look at your dog and try to find the dog inside the body. And use your knowledge, use your science knowledge. You learned that you can't find any dog inside the body. Then let's take that energy, which is the mind, which is the same. Let's take that energy. Then that energy is used to control that body, to make noises. That energy is used to make these noises, ladies and gentlemen. This make noises means actually my throat vibrates and it creates vibrations. That it creates vibrations due to energy stored, which is stored in these muscles. The mind doesn't do anything. The mind let brain does these things. Brain do these things. That's the part of the mind. The mind can't control this body. The mind can control. Control means not control. Actually, the mind can deal with, communicate with the brain. Therefore, actually, this body is a machine like your refrigerator, this air conditioner, this TV, television, your vehicle. It is full of energy. It is ready to move. We need the engine. Then, when engine gives energy, then it moves. That's it. But don't be afraid. When you see a person, then perhaps you will be afraid, oh, no one is there to, how can I talk to this person now? In that case, actually you think that you exist and no one exists. Only you exist. Then you feel so alone. Try to understand and practice, then you will see. That is the reality. Anyway, that is the reality. The Buddha asks us to practice the reality. How can we know the Dhamma that we practice is said by the Buddha? Because it is the truth. It is the truth. If you can find a person inside your body, come to me with details. You can't find. Then doctors have to amputate legs and arms when that man is not. Then perhaps we have to ask, hey man, take your arm, then the inside man. Then he has to take this arm. Now that arm is here. Imagine that. That arm is here. Now you cut. But before that, if you cut, what happened to that man's arm? Then it will lose. He will lose his arm, inside man. Just try to understand that. This body is just a machine. Learn about this body if you want, but not too deep. Just know about this. Then you will know that you can't find any person here. The brain conducts. The brain rules the body. That's it. And apart from that, actually we are talking about the mind. The mind is the energy. Then you can't find any different person, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking about the same thing. Same thing. Due to ignorance and attachment, we have our own nature, which is called gati. The Buddha used a word called gati. That means our nature. That is collective mindset. Due to ignorance and attachment. Because you have your own wantings, you have your own defilements, cankers. Because of these things, now an entity-like thing is created. Or it is not an entity, it is also a manifestation. Because of that, you feel that you are a different person and I am a different person. But in terms of the mind, it is the same. Everyone has the same mind. That means that energy is the same. That energy controls the brain. And you can't find any person here. If you can't find any person here, then how can you love a person? If you can remember last time we were talking about love, how can you love a person if you can't find one? Anyway, you loved. You tried. That's why I told you, ladies and gentlemen, you can't love. You can be the love if you want. Be the love. Then whoever comes to you will be happy. If you are the love. Otherwise, your children can't be happy with you. Because you are not happy. You are not the love. You try to love. You have a million conditions. If you behave well, I love you. If you only stay with me, I love you. Love your husband without any condition. You can't. Love your children without any condition. When they want to come here to stay with us, let them come. Without any condition, you have to love. No. You love them if they behave as you want. You have conditions because you are vexed and you try to use them to come out of vexation. That's not love. Again, you see a kid, you see a child in that body, when you think that that's your daughter, that's your son. Then you want to associate with him, but he is created within you. But to create your son, you need his body. You need to see it. And you need to know that he is still alive. Therefore, the best information you want to know is your children's life, if they are still alive. That's the best information you want to know. Because if you know that, even though they are alive, if you know that they are dead, you will cry. Because the person you used to create died. Now you can't create that person anymore. But if you knew that no one is there in the body in the first place, you never cry. As an example, if your bus or if your car is broken, would you cry or fix it? Because you didn't lose anyone. But when someone's neck is broken, when you know that the neck is broken, that means that person died. The person is not anymore. That means you can't create that person because your mind knows that that person is not anymore. Then how can you associate with him? When you cry. In the first place, you didn't have any person to associate with. But you used that body because that body was so alive. Therefore, you used that body to create that person inside your mind. Then you had your husband or wife, your children, or your parents in your mind. You associated with them, but suddenly you came to know that he is not anymore. Then you came to know that. Therefore, you started crying. Until that, you will enjoy. Let's assume that now you are listening to me, but your husband died. Why don't you cry? How dare you? You should cry now. But when you go home, you will cry. Why? Still, your husband, which is that husband which is created in your mind, he is still alive. Therefore, you won't cry. You can associate with him. Oh, he is there, he is at home. You think, he is at home. I will meet him. But when you go home, you come to know that something happened to him. And sometimes he is unconscious, but you think that he is dead. And still you cry. Because no one is there to die. Someone dies. All the time someone dies in your mind. Someone is born or will be born in your mind. Someone was born in your mind. That person would die. Then you will cry. You were born in your mind. Therefore you believe that you exist. And you are afraid of death. Because you believe that one day you will die. That's why when we talk about death, you are so scared. I don't want to die. When people talk about the last experience, death, people like to talk about that. And some people are afraid of that. But there is no such thing called death. There is no such thing called birth. If you want to stop this, you just need to understand. You can't stop reincarnation. Why? There is no such thing as reincarnation. If something doesn't exist, how can you stop that? But if something doesn't exist, and if you want to stop it, the only thing you can do is understand it. That's why the Buddha asks us to understand the dukkha, which means jati, which means the false sense of existence. Because you can't stop that, because it's false. It happens in your imagination, but it happens. But in your imagination. Therefore, you can't stop that. In order to stop, you need to understand. This is how you win this game, ladies and gentlemen. Life is a game, but most of the time, game is over before you die. But this time, try your level best to finish your game before you die. You just need to understand, that's it. Don't try to do any other thing, just understand that. Don't try to stop anything, just understand. Because you don't have to eradicate anything. You just need to understand things, because most of things that you are engaged with is false, are false. When you understand it, it will disappear. It's like a ghost. That ghost always hurts you. Let's assume that ghost always hurts you. But the only way to get rid of the ghost is understand. Just understand it. When you understand it, it will disappear. Until that, you will get hurt. Because that ghost is created in your mind. This is so simple. This is so simple. Understand and it will disappear. Learn, understand, practice. Sunata. The Buddha said, Sunata. Listen. Listen carefully. Dhareta. Understand it carefully. Understand means like put it into your life. Shuffle it with your experience. Understand it with your experience. Then you are ready to charat. Sunat dharet charat. Charat. That means now live. Listen. Apply it to your life. And live. How do you live? I think I don't have to teach you how to live. Just live. The only thing you missed is the awareness. You know how to live. Walk, run, talk, eat. Do all these things. But with mindful awareness. Talk to people with that awareness. Try to find a person. I know you won't find a person. Then you will realize that that person is created in your mind. Then that person never dies. Because no one is there to die, but a person is in your mind and he will die and you will cry. You will associate with that person. You can't associate with this person. A person is created. Guru Hamdru is created in your mind and you associate with him. You can hear a sound, ladies and gentlemen. You can hear this voice, but you can hear this voice, but you think that comes from Guru Hamdru, which is created in your mind. Therefore, apart from you, no one exists. And you and others all exist in your mind. But bodies are there. The energy is there. The mind energy is there. Bodies are there. That's why I told you, everything is the same in this world. But when you come to that point, you will have love in your mind. You won't choose anyone out of anyone. You won't choose, and you will stay calm. Blue color will be created in your mind. You will experience it. At that time, I don't think you will expect red color. When you experience blue color, you will experience blue. When you experience a piece of music, you will experience it to the fullest. Then you will know how to live your lives to the fullest, even though you don't even have a penny. Therefore, acquiring or own things are not the path to happiness. That's not how to live your life to the fullest. This is the way. Let's practice this and enjoy your life. I'll see you next day. May the blessings of the Noble Refulgence be with you all.